sports psychology presentation, we're going to be talking about our experiences teaching abroad and how important effective communication and feedback are.
Effective communication is something that we found was really important to all three of us. While we were talking, we found that all of us had gone on volunteer teaching trips where we experienced that due to cultural differences or differences in the language, that we had trouble communicating initially with the kids. So by applying effective communication methods, we were able to mediate that and better communicate with them.
The three aspects that we saw most important in communication were empathy, active listening, and feedback.
In a peer-reviewed journal study that they did on the development of intercultural communicative competence, they found that in many definitions of empathy, the idea of acquiring another person's perspective is really crucial.
Oh, that's just like something else that Danny said. Quote, empathy is helpful in dealing with students because when we have the ability to understand or if need be, voice the issue from the student's perspective, it helps the students feel secure and supported.
Picking up for the vernacular is kind of picking up on their language and how they see it, or how the students describe it first, and then kind of copying that language to your instructions to use the kind of words or actions or descriptions they think of.
So, for example, using trousers instead of pants when you're speaking with someone who uses those words.
Is it okay to wear trousers tomorrow on the field trip?
Yeah, trousers are perfect.
I think after taking this class and reading the textbook that some of the most important nonverbal communication skills for effective communication are making strong eye contact, nodding, and showing some emotion.
Something that was really interesting in the textbook was that all of the things that can make an individual feel accepted or significant or worthwhile, nothing was really more important than being listened to. If you really want people to confide in you, you have to make a concerted effort to listen to them.
Pretty straightforward. You have to actively listen. You have to really be completely focused on them and nothing else, because they can immediately tell when they've lost your attention, and they feel like you've slightly betrayed their trust. So you really need to be completely involved and paying attention to what they're saying. So that means eye contact, being close to them, hearing everything they say and trying to just listen sometimes rather than just immediately giving feedback. Just really listen to what they have to say entirely.
In the Pennycook study, it says you should nod, use facial expressions and gestures when you're actively listening, especially when there's a language barrier.
When I was in Africa, I was teaching at a school with young kids, and they didn't understand nonverbal communication at all. So when I would say hi, how are you? They were just I'm good, in a straight face. And I was I was trying to teach them that it's really important to show expression on your face. So if I didn't understand what they were saying, or if we had a language barrier, it would be really important for them to have a smile on their face so I knew that they were happy. And then when I nodded and said okay, I understand that, then that was them knowing that they understood what I was saying.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I totally agree. I had the same issue when I was teaching in Chile. Every time that I would go up in front of the classroom, I always exaggerated my emotions because then they could understand me even more.
It depends on the case. I think there are some students that definitely need to be, sometimes you have to be hard on them when you give them feedback, and sometimes there are kids you need to definitely be more gentle with and just kind of talk them through it. Depends, I think, also is a key part of that.
When we were talking to Danny, and he was talking about the importance of feedback, and he said what was really important and what he's learned most is to give immediate feedback, either positive or negative, right away, because that's what helps his students grow the most.
In one of our articles that also talked about feedback, it says that one study that also looked at feedback looked at delayed versus immediate feedback, and the researchers found that participants who were given immediate feedback showed a significant larger increase in performance than those who had received delayed feedback.
The Stanger study suggests that in order to provide effective feedback, one should ensure their feedback is concise, carefully presented, and, as Danny suggested in his interview, immediate.
So I think you would accept the null here.
Yeah, that's exactly right. When I asked Danny about positive and negative reinforcement and how it can affect behavior in the classroom, he said, quote, that there are a few students in his class who respond really well to positive reinforcement. For example, if they're doing their homework quietly, I let them play music while working, and then they're more motivated to continue working on their schoolwork. When Danny was talking about playing music for his students while they were doing work, it reminded me of this article we were reading about reinforcement. It says, quote, "Planned positive reinforcement is very effective in promoting desirable change in student behavior," or in this case, just keeping the desirable behavior. Reinforcement is given to bring about desirable change and to teach students to take responsibility for behavior. Without these reinforcements, how likely is it that you would exhibit appropriate behavior for showing up for work every day or doing your work each day? So after taking this class and reading the textbook, what do you guys think the most important aspects of communication are?
Some of the most important aspects probably of verbal communication are making strong eye contact and nodding and showing emotion.
Video chatting and talking to Danny, what are you going to take away and use when you go away next semester to teach?
I think when I go to Chile in February, an important takeaway from what Danny was saying is about putting myself in my students' shoes and kind of gauging their perspective through empathy.
Not only can we take what we learned about communication and apply it to when we teach abroad or when we teach in the future, but I think it's really important to understand these communication skills for our everyday lives.